Hi everybody, today I'm going to go over 20 licks that mix the major and minor pentatonic scale. Everything is using the key of A here, so we're talking about the A major pentatonic scale and the A minor pentatonic scale. This is something that you really have to get good at if you're going to be a decent blues player. You have to know how to mix these scales together, and you have to know where to play the major pentatonic scale and where to play the minor pentatonic scale in a 12-bar blues in that song structure. So that's what this lesson is about. Each one of these licks, I'm going to, of course, show you how to play it, but I'm also going to talk about the theory and talk about where you're supposed to play the lick in that 12-bar blues structure. Really important to know. So let's break down the licks one by one. Here is the first lick. That's the first lick, up to speed. Let's break it down slowly, and I'll also talk about some of the theory behind this and in general how to play the minor and major pentatonics and how to mix those over the 12-bar blues. So first off, this lick is played over the first two bars in a 12-bar blues. So this first part of the lick is over the 1 chord, and the second lick is over the 4 chord. If you don't know what those means, what that means when I say the 1 and the 4 chord, you definitely want to look at that. That's the key to knowing how to mix the scales over the blues. But basically the 1 chord is the A, and the 4 chord is the D when I go up to the D there. And really the key thing to take away from this lesson, if you don't take anything else away from this lesson, take this away from the lesson. Play the major pentatonic scale over the 1 chord and the minor pentatonic scale over the 4 chord. That's really the key to mixing the major and minor pentatonic scales here. That's the same strategy that you see from guys like Eric Clapton and B.B. King. That's really all they're doing. Major pentatonic over the first chord, 1 chord, and minor pentatonic over the 4 chord. So this lick is played over those first 2 bars where we go from the 1 to the 4. So the first bar, we play this little major pentatonic lick. If I could break that down really quickly, it's hammer up on the 2 to the 4. And when we go up to the 2nd fret on the 3rd string, you can either pluck that with your finger, if you want to get a little finger style in there, or just do a little upstroke. Then we end up on that bend up on the 4th fret on the 3rd string. So really slow, it's like this. Now the second part of the lick, we're getting into the minor pentatonic scale here with a little bit of a blues note. It sounds like this. That's it, basically up to speed there. So let's break this down. I'm first hammering up from the 5 to the 8 on the 2nd string. Then I just kind of climb down the scale. So starting on the 5th fret on the 1st string, I climb down to the 8th fret on the 2nd string, pull off to the 5th fret on the 2nd string, 8th fret on the 3rd string, 7th fret on the 3rd string, and then finally 5th fret on the 3rd string. So it's like this. Then the last few notes here, we go 7 on the 4th string, 5 on the 3rd string, 7 on the 4th string. So the whole second part of the lick is this. So let's play that really slowly. There's the second lick. Same as the first lick, we're playing this over the first 2 bars in a 12-bar blues. So the first part of the lick is major pentatonic, and the second part of the lick, again, is minor pentatonic, sticking to that, playing the major over the 1 chord and the minor over the 4 chord. So we're way up here on the 11th fret starting out, so or the 12th fret rather. So the first part of the lick is this. It's just a little pull off from the 12 to the 10. Land on the 11th, and then back up to the 10 on the second. So then we bend up on the 12th on the second string there. So the whole thing is like this. Again, that's A major pentatonic scale. Now, the second bar, we're going to the minor pentatonic scale, and the lick sounds like this. Very Eric Clapton type vibe there, landing on the... Eric Clapton does that a lot. So the first note starts on the 8th fret on the second string. Then we bend up on the 10th, bend back down and play it again, then bend back up. So it's like this. And then we do that ending from the 8 on the first string to the 10 on the second string. So the whole thing is like this. Let's play that really slowly. So let's play it one more, all the way through at a slow speed. That is the third lick. We're still playing over the first 2 bars of the 12-bar blues, so the 1 chord and the 4 chord. This is a great way to start off a 12-bar blues, even if you're playing a slow 12-bar blues. You can slow this lick down, it still sounds really good. The first part of the lick that we're in the major pentatonic scale, of course, because we're playing over the 1 chord, is a really classic blues lick. Really basic lick. That's a great way to start off a 12-bar blues, by the way, if you slow that down. Really great lick. So what we're doing here is we're starting off on the 5th fret on the 3rd string and hammering up to the 6th. So that's the major note right there, right? That's the major 3rd. Then we do 5-7 on the 2nd string. And then we land on the 5th fret on the 1st string. So it's like this. In the second part of the lick, the second bar, we get into this minor pentatonic scale. So we're up in the 8th and 10th fret in the 1st and 2nd string in this region up here. And the second part of the lick is this. Also a really Eric Clapton type vibe there. He does that thing a lot. A lot of people do that thing a lot. So basically what we're doing here, it's a little triplet. We are first playing the 10th fret on the 1st string, and then we get into this triplet little hammer pull off thing. So all that is starting on the 8th fret on the 1st string, we hammer to the 10th and pull back. And then land on the 10th fret on the 2nd string. So it's like this, really slow. That's it. So the whole licks, and then we land on the 10th fret on the 2nd string to end the lick. So the whole lick together, I'll play it slow, is like this. That is the 4th lick. Again, playing in the major pentatonic to start out in the first bar, and then we're going up to the minor pentatonic scale. This is a really kind of Jimi Hendrix style vibe. It's kind of mixing a little bit of Eric Clapton and Jimi Hendrix in this lick. So the first lick here Again, major pentatonic scale. We're bending up on the 4th fret, up a whole step, and then we're doing that triplet thing like we did in the last lick. We're doing a quick hammer on and pull off. So, and then land on the 4th fret on the 4th string. So, last note there is the 2nd fret on the 3rd string. So all together it's like this. Great way to start off a 12-bar blues. Now the next lick that we play again over the 4 chord, we're getting into the minor pentatonic scale. It's like this. I'll play it once slowly. Really kind of Jimi Hendrix sounding, right? So basically a cool bending lick and probably a good exercise to work on your bends and pulling off the bends. So great lick. We start on the 5th fret on the 3rd string, and then we bend up on the 4th with your 4th finger there, or 3rd finger on the 2nd string on the 8th fret. We're bending up. So it's like this. Bending up a full step. Now here's kind of the tricky part. When you bend all the way up, you bend it down and then pull off. So bend up all the way on the 8, bend down on the 8, and pull back to the 5. That's kind of a tricky bend and pull off if you're not used to doing that. So again, this could be a good exercise for you, a good lick to get some of your bending and pulling off technique down. So in the last part of the lick is just either pick both notes or you can do a little pull off. So the whole second part of the lick is this, at a slow speed. And the whole thing together sounds like this. That is the next lick. Let's break this down. The first part, again, we're in the major pentatonic scale. Really similar to the lick we played a couple licks ago. When we played this. Same type of idea. Starting on the 5th fret, hammering up to the 6th. Then we play 5-7 on the 2nd. And then land on the 5th fret on the 1st. So it's like this. The difference here, we do this kind of cool thing where after we play this note, we play the double of that note on the 10th fret on the 2nd string. So it's like this. Those are the same note, right? 10th fret on the 2nd string, 5th fret on the 1st string. So kind of a cool lick there. The next part, we're getting again into the minor pentatonic scale because we're playing over the 4 chord here. It's like this. Really, again, kind of in Eric Clapton, Jimi Hendrix territory here. So we're bending up on the 15th fret, land on the 15th fret on the 1st string, and then we do that kind of bend up and pull off trick again. So bending up on the 15th fret, pulling down and pulling off to the 13th. Kind of like the thing we did a couple licks ago where we did it down here. We land on the 14th fret on the 3rd string. And then the last 2 notes are just 15, 13 on the 2nd string. So the whole thing together slow is like this. And that's it. So the whole lick together at a slow speed is like this. That's the next lick. Now this lick is actually all minor pentatonic. And I made it all minor pentatonic because this is made to play over just the 4 chord. So back to that rule, right? play the 1 chord, we're playing the major pentatonic scale, and when you get to the 4 chord, you're playing the minor pentatonic scale. In this case, we're playing in the key of A, so the 4 chord is the D. So just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, if you don't know, let's play through a 12-bar blues really quickly here. So after we get up to the A, then we go back to the D for 4 bars, or 2 bars rather. So when we get back up to that D, we're playing the 4 chord. And when we're playing over the 4 chord, we just play the minor pentatonic scale. That's the rule we're playing by here. So this lick is made to play over that part of the 12-bar blues structure. So let's break down the licks slowly. The first part is really basic. Just a bend up on the 7th fret, then 5 on the 3rd string, and then back to the 7th fret without the bend. Now the next lick is a pretty fast pentatonic lick, and I threw an economy pick in there if you want to use an economy pick. But it sounds like this. Let's do that again. So the second lick sounds like this. So pretty fast little lick there. If I play it up to speed, it sounds like this. So you can use the economy picking there if you want to. I'll break that down and show you where the economy picking happens. But basically, we're starting on the 5th fret on the 1st string, and then we go descend down the minor pentatonic scale, so it's like this. Now here, we kind of roll back. It's a lick that kind of rolls over itself a little bit, right? So it goes like this. We go back up to the 2nd string after we go to the 3rd string. And that's where the economy pick happens, when we're going from the 3rd string to the 2nd string. So you don't have to do the economy pick, but if you can, you should do it. It's more efficient. So that's easier than going and doing an upstroke when you get back up to the 2nd string. So I have a lesson on economy picking out there, on developing economy picking technique. So if you have not seen that, check that out. There's some really good exercises in there that will help you develop that technique. And there's it opens up a lot of possibilities for what you can play when you can economy pick, and also helps you play certain things a lot faster. So back to this lick here. So we ended there. The last few notes we pull off from the 7 to 5, land on the 7th to the 4th fret, then the 5th and the 3rd fret, and then finally land on the 7. So let's play this once again slowly, the second part of the lick. You can also do an economy pick when you go up from the 7th fret on the 4th string to the 5th fret on the 3rd string. You can get away with not doing economy picking a little bit easier there, but that's another place you can throw in economy picking. So one more time, let's play through the entire lick at a slow speed. So there's a couple ideas in here that we played in some earlier licks. Again, we're playing over the 4 chord, so this is a straight minor pentatonic scale. That's where you'd want to play this when you're trying to play this lick over the 12-bar blues. So let's go over the lick. The first part, we have that little triplet trick in there. So play the 10th fret on the 2nd string, then we do the hammer on pull off triplet on the 2nd string, 8, 10, 8, so, and then land on the 9. That's a great little lick in and of itself right there. Easy lick to throw in places and sounds good. So in any case, the lick is like this. Then we climb back up, 8 on the second string, 10 on the second string, then 8 on the first string. So all together it's like this. In the next few notes are 10th fret on the second string, 8 on the second string. And then we do that bend up, bend back, and bend up again. And then land on that very Eric Clapton 8 to the 10th fret on the first and second string there. So that bending part, really good exercise if you're not really comfortable with bending and making sure you land exactly a step up. So good bending practice in this lick. So let's play the entire lick at a slow speed. There's the next lick. Let's break this down, all in minor pentatonic scale here. So the first thing, we do this lick right here where we hit 2 notes together. That's the 8th fret on the second string, in the 7th fret on, or 8th fret on the first string rather, in 7th fret on the second string. And we do a half step bend up with your third finger there, bending up on the 7th fret. Really cool sounding little 1-note lick there. Next 4 notes are this. Just climbing down the A minor pentatonic scale and bending up on the 7th fret. And then we go 7-5 on the 3rd string. So this is actually a pretty fast lick, so I'll play it one more time up to speed so you can hear how it sounds when it's played fast. So that last part right there, the bend up in the 7 and the 5, it's more like that. Pretty quick. So really slow, it sounds like this. It's a good exercise type lick there, really good for that quick bending and quick picking. The next part of the lick, again, we're staying in the A minor pentatonic scale. It's like this. Let's break that down. Pull from the 7 to the 5 on the 3rd string. Land on the 7 on the 4th string. Then hammer up 5-7 on the 3rd string. So it's like this. And then land on the 5th fret on the 2nd string. Then back to the 5th fret on the 3rd string. That's actually kind of a tricky part there because you're kind of doing a little bit of a roll when you're playing the 5th fret on the 2nd string and then 5th fret on the 3rd string. And then the last few notes are pull off from the 7-5 on the 4th string, land on the 7 on the 5th string, and then finally 5 hammer onto 7. So let's play this really slowly. The whole lick all together, slow. So let's break this down. The first part, we're just bending up on the 15th fret on the 2nd string and then hitting the 15th fret on the 1st string. So then we do this. So it's a bend up on the 15th fret on the 2nd string, 15th fret on the 1st string, and then we do that bend back down, pull off thing. And then land on the 14th fret on the 3rd string. So it's like this. Great little lick. Then the last two notes, we do a hammer from the 13th to the 14th. Now that's back to the major pentatonic scale because the 14th is the third of the A note. So that's major pentatonic scale. So one more time, let's play it slowly. Really Eric Clapton style lick here, very crossroads-ish. So let's break this down. This is all in the minor pentatonic scale, way up here on the 17th fret. So let's break this down. First two notes, 17 to the 20 on the second string, then bend up on the 20th fret. Then 17 on the first fret, first string, and 20th fret on the second string. That's what we got so far. Then we bend up on the 20 on the first string. Then we go, after that bend up, we go back to the 20 bent down and then do this. That's 20, 17, 20. So it's like this so far. Now the next notes we do that triplet thing again. And that's kind of major-ish sounding. It's not, but it sounds a little bit major to me. Has a major happy vibe to it. So anyway, that's 17, 19 pull off. And land on the 20th on the second string. So far we got this. So the last few notes are this. That's 17th on the first fret, 20th on the second fret, and then bend up on the 20th on the 20th fret on the second string. So let's play the whole thing slowly. This next lick is pretty fast here and pretty tough to play. Probably a good exercise. So let's go through it. We're doing that triplet thing a lot here. And we're basically doing a slightly different version of that triplet anyway. We're doing a triplet. The triplet is starting on the 5th fret on the first string and then pulling off 8-5 on the second string. So that's kind of the triplet. So anyway, the lick goes like this. The first little section is this. So there's that little triplet. So there it is slow. We're bending up on the 8th fret on the second string there. So now the next part is pretty tough. We're doing 2 triplets right here. That part's tricky if you don't really have the pull-offs down. So basically what we're doing there, we're just going down the scale. So 5 on the first string, then 8-5 on the second string, and then 7-5 on the third string, and then land on the 7th on the 4th string. So that's the lick. Again, you're going to have trouble with that if you're not too good on the hammer-on pull-offs. I have some good lessons out there about kind of developing pentatonic technique, so definitely check out my my pentatonic lick videos if you haven't seen those yet. So anyway, after this, we land on the 5th fret on the 3rd string, and then finally we land on the 7th fret on the 4th string. So really slow, let's play through this. That's the first part, and then the next part is all together. So there's the next lick. This is another pretty fast lick. It's pretty tricky. Let's break it down. Also a really good exercise. So the first note, few notes, is this 7 to 5 pull off and then land on the 7th and the 4th string. So, and then we do this little fast pentatonic lick here. With a blues note. So it's like this. So let's break that down. Starting on the 5th fret on the 3rd string, hammer up to the 7th fret. Then 5, 8, 5, pull off on the 2nd string. So then we do the blues note, the 8th fret on the 3rd string, and pull off to the 7 and then the 5. So it's like this. Then 7 on the 4th string, 5 on the 3rd string. So far, let's play the lick slowly. So that's the first part of the lick. Now the second part of the lick, let's play it one more time. It goes like this. We had a lick that earlier that used a really similar lick in it. So this lick has a little economy pick in it, and we basically do this. 5th fret on the 1st string, pull off 8, 5 on the 2nd, land on the 7th fret on the 3rd string. So then we go up to the 8th fret on the 2nd string and pull off to the 5. Then pull off 7, 5, and then finally 7 on the 4th string, 5 on the 3rd string. There it is slow. Let's play it really slow. Now the economy pick on this, I'll point that out. You always do the economy pick when you're going from a lower string to a higher string. So when I roll down here and I land on the 7th fret on the 3rd string, when I go back up to the 8th fret on the 2nd string, that's where the economy pick happens. So if you watch my right hand here, notice I'm doing 2 downstrokes in a row. That's the economy pick. And I'm also doing an economy pick at the last couple notes there. 7 to 5. I can play that lick way faster with economy picking than I can with alternate picking. That's why you want to learn economy picking. Again, I have a lesson out there that breaks down how to develop economy picking technique. So definitely check that out if you want to get that technique down. There's the next lick. Let's break this one down. The first part of the lick is a bend up on the 15th fret, and then 15, 13, 15 on the 2nd string. So just like that, pretty simple. Now this next part is kind of the tricky part, and it goes like this. I'll play through it once slow. So basically, what you're doing here is you're bending up on the 15th fret, then pulling off 15, 13, and then landing on the 14th fret on the 3rd string. So it's like this. Then we go up to the 15th fret on the 2nd string, 12th fret on the 1st string, and then bend up on the 13th fret on the 2nd string. So it's kind of tricky fingering. Then the last few notes are a really quick pull off from 14 to 12, and then the 14th on the 3rd and 4th string. So, and then the last two notes is just a hammer from 12 to 14. So let's play the whole thing slowly here. So this lick's a little bit easier. Let's break it down. We're in this area up here, starting on the 13th fret on the 2nd string. And the lick, one time, the first part of the lick slowly is this. You got that triplet trick in there. Again, a great little lick. So in any case, we bend up, 13th fret, then 13-10 on the 2nd string. Then up to the 13th fret on the 2nd string. Then we do that triplet thing, 10, 12, pull off. Then 12th on the 3rd string. Then finally land on the 10th fret on the 2nd string. So it's like this. Then the next part of the lick is this. There's a nice little slide trick in here. So the first note is 12th on the 3rd string, then pull off to the 9, then back up to the 9th on the 3rd string. Now here's that little slide. We slide from the 13th fret to the 12th. It's a really quick slide. It's like this. It's kind of a cool little trick. Just that little slide is kind of a lick you can throw in places. So I like that little slide lick. That's something to throw into other licks you already have. It sounds good. In any case, that's the lick. So it's 10th fret on the 4th string, 12th fret on the 5th string. That's that little lick. So let's play the whole thing again. Here's another lick that's mixing major and minor pentatonic really nicely here. So let's walk through it. The first part of the lick is this. It's 5-7 hammer on, and then the 5th fret on the 4th string. Then we go backwards, 7-5 on the 4th string. We'll pull off, then land on the 7th on the 5th string. So far we have this. Land on the 5th fret on the 4th string. Then we slide up from the 7 to 9 on the 5th string. And that part is where we get into the major pentatonic scale, because this note right here, which is the F sharp, if you want to get technical there, is the major 6th of the A note, which is in the major pentatonic scale. Next notes, we get right back into the minor pentatonic scale. So we're only in the major pentatonic scale for that one note. So it's when we slide up there, we go right back to the 7, slide down to the 5 on the 3rd string, which is the minor pentatonic scale. So again, it's really that one note that we're in the major pentatonic scale. This is a straight up Jimi Hendrix lick. He does this one a lot. So if you pull anything out of this one lick, that little part right there, in and of itself is a really cool lick and sounds really good in blues and mixes the major and minor pentatonic scale in a pretty cool way. In the last few notes, pretty basic. We're pulling off from the 7 to the 5, then 7 on the 5th string, then 5th on the 4th string, and then 7 on the 4th string. This is a really close to a Eric Clapton lick in Crossroads. Mixes the major and minor pentatonic scale. You would play this over the end of the 12-bar blues. So the last 2 bars in the 12-bar blues, where you're basically doing the turnaround. That's the basic lick there. So let's break this down slowly, and I'll explain where we're getting into the minor and major pentatonic scale. So the first note is slide up on the 9th fret, then on the 8th fret on the 2nd string. Then we do this. That's 10 on the 2nd string, 9 on the 3rd, and 8 on the 2nd. So far it's this. Now after that part, we get up into major territory. So we're sliding up to the 11th fret. 11th fret is part of the major scale. Again, that's the major 6th of the A note. So back on the major pentatonic scale, we just do that twice. Then the last few notes we do a little pull off, 12-10. Land on the 11th fret again. We're still in major territory. That's the whole lick. Let's play it once through really slowly. This is another lick that we play over the turnaround. So try and work this into the last 2 bars of the 12-bar blues. That's where the turnaround is. So let's walk through this. Bend up on the 8th fret on the 2nd string. Now this next part is pretty tricky. It's like this. So we're descending down the scale first. Just 5 on the 1st string, then pull off 8-5, then 7 on the 3rd string. So it's like this. Now this next part is kind of a tricky picking pattern. You can try some economy picking there, experiment with different ways to economy pick, or you can just alternate pick it. So here's the next part of the lick. Here's the next part of the lick. The next part of the lick is pretty tricky. Let me play through it once. So the first part, you descend through the A minor pentatonic scale. Pretty basic there. The next part, we do this. So that's 8 on the 2nd string, 7 on the 3rd string, and then 5 on the 2nd string. So, and I'm doing, when I play those 3 notes, 8, 7 on the 3rd, and then 5 on the 2nd, I'm doing up, down, up, alternate picking. You can do other things, experiment with other ways to pick that. You can even try and do it with your finger. So whatever way works for you. But that's kind of the tricky picking part of the lick. In the next part of the lick, we get into major territory. So in the turnaround, the last few bars, we go from minor, and then we end on major in the last bar of the 12-bar blues. And that lick goes like this. So what we're doing there is hammering on 5-7. Then we go 4-7 on the 4th string. Then 5, hammer up to 6 on the 3rd. And then land on the E note. And we land on the E note. That sounds good there in the turnaround because the last chord in the turnaround is the E. E7 really. So on the E chord, we play the E note. So anytime you're playing in the turnaround, it's good to get into the major territory, then land on the E note. That's kind of what you're shooting for. So I can do anything as long as it's kind of in the major scale, and then I land on the E note. That'll sound good over the turnaround. So any way you want to mix that up, little major pentatonic lick, and then land on the E. Anything like that. Major pentatonic, land on E. So let's play through this one more time. Let's break down this lick. We're in the turnaround territory still. So again, we're starting in the major pentatonic scale, and then we're trying to end on the E note. Or something that will go with the E. We're not landing on the E note in this case, but something that goes well over the E chord. So here is the lick. The first part, we're hammering up 8 to 9 on the third string. Then we go up 7 and 10 on the second. Then 9, 10 on the first string, and then 10 on the second string. It's a really major sound. Because we're hitting a lot of major notes in there. We're hitting the major sixth. We're hitting the major third. So that's the first part of the lick right there. Then we do kind of a minor thing. Not kind of a minor thing, that's a minor thing. And it's a little bend and pull off, so we're bending up, bending down, pulling off. Then do another pull off. Then land on the 10. So far we got this. Then we go up to the 15th fret and just ride that 15th fret on the first string. So it's like this. Kind of a cool sound there. Then we go back and do that little bend trick. Bend up, bend down, pull off. You know, throughout this lesson, there's a lot of these really little licks. And even if you don't get the full lick, you can't play the whole lick beginning to end, try and pull some of those little tricks out of there. There's a few of them that I went through. You know, when we did these things, that trick, we've done a lot of the bend up, pull down, and pull off. And then we did that slide trick in a couple places. And then there's also licks where we do that half step hammer on to the major third. So there's these like little tiny, you know, 1 or 2 note lick things that even if you don't like the licks I'm playing, you can take those little ideas and put them into your own licks and play licks you like. But those little ideas are something that you want to pull out of this lesson. So let's play this through this lick one more time slowly. A really Eric Clapton style lick here. Let's break it down. It starts off with a little double stop. That's 5 and 5 on the first string. We hammer up to the 7th on the second string. Really major sounding and a really cool sound. Then we pull off 7-5 on the second string. Land on the 7th on the third, so it's like this. Then we do this. That's 5-7-9 on the third string. Pretty basic. And then finally, we do this. We do another double stop, 5 and 5 on the second and third string now, and hammer up to the 6th. Then we go back to the 5 on the third string and then finally land on the E note. Again, we're landing on the E note because we're playing over the turnaround in this case, and the E sounds good over the E. So let's play through the entire lick slowly. Here's the last lick, lick number 20. Again, we're playing over the turnaround here, and the lick goes a little something like this. So we slide up to the 11th fret on the third string, then go 11, 10 on the second string, and then 11. Then back on the 10 on the second string. Then we do this little bending trip. That same bending trick we did. We're bending up, bending back down, and pulling off. We also throw a little 12 on the first string up here, so it's like this. Then we go down to the 8th fret here, which is the flat 7, so it's kind of back into minor territory. Then we land on the E. Again, a great note to land on when you're playing over the turnaround here. So this lick, you know, kind of mixes everything together. We got minor and major mixed together here. So let me play through the whole thing again really slowly.